Hi guys, welcome back to Origami Twist. My name's Jen, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to create a 5-sided star. This is a project that I saw featured on When Calls the Heart, the television show a few years ago. I believe it was in their Christmas episode. Don't quote me on that. If I can find the link to it, I'll put it in the description box below, or at least tell you which episode it was so you can go and check that out. But today we are going to make these stars perfect Christmas ornaments or other decorations for your home. So your materials to make this are one pentagon shape. If you don't have a pentagon handy, I have created a video on that. That's on my channel. I'll put a link in the description box below so that you can go and check that out and create a pentagon. And as I recommended in the video, I definitely suggest creating a template so that you don't have to do all of the folding and whatnot each time. So once you've got a pentagon and you have transferred it to either origami paper or traditional paper, and it doesn't matter what size the pentagon is, you can fold it from just about any size paper. The smaller you go, the more challenging it'll be, but that is the case with many things involving paper crafting. Okay, so there are 4 specific steps to folding the star. The first one is to create some creases going from the midpoint of each side of the pentagon through to the point on the other side. So I have pre-drawn those before, and I'm going to fold that into this paper. So one edge is going to go up to the opposite edge and create a crease. And then we're going to do the same thing for each of the points and midpoints. So I like to work methodically because then that way I know that I've hit every point. There we go. So you can check to make sure you've done it correctly by looking at every point, making sure there is a crease created for each one. Okay, once you've completed that, now we are going to make another set of creases all the way around. This time it looks like this. So where those creases are from before, we're going to bring the edge up and meet the creases. So I don't know if you can see these dots. That is where the edge comes up and meets the creases. So you line it up, you find those 2 corners, you meet the crease for both of them. And when you hit the crease right on the spot for both and create your mid crease here, the one that goes down the middle, will line up with itself. So this line needs to line up with itself, and the corners need to intersect with the 2 creases. You're then going to open it up, turn it slightly, and do the same thing. Midline lining up with itself, corners lining up with the previous creases, turn, and so on for each side. Once again, I am methodical about it so that I don't miss one. Okay, and so once you've made each one of these creases, by following that technique, you're ready for the next step. So the next crease pattern that we're creating is a little bit trickier. You may end up having to try this a few times, have some patience with it. But you're basically going to fold one of those edges up using the crease that you created in the last fold. You're going to turn it so that that crease or that fold is vertical. Put your fingers on the top section and paying special attention to this crease here, you're going to bring this bottom section, so comes up, and now we want this to lay flat, this bottom section to lay flat, and it's going to need to create a new crease in order to do that. So lies flat and press down, and when you do, this section behind will create a crease, and this pops out to the side. So you know it's been done correctly because the creases that were created before here and here are still in place. So once again, fold it up and press against it so that everything's flat, and when you look at this, it can stand straight up comfortably. Okay. Open it up, turn it so that the next side does that again. And once again, looking for the next bottom crease there. The same thing happens. You fold it up, you find that spot where both of these lines are folded down, and then you just press it down to create a new crease. And up, turn it again. This one's coming over, this next one's coming up. And the more you do this, the better you'll get at it. It's tricky at first, but I promise it'll get easier. So you press these together and then down, and so on. And the new creases you've created should create this pattern. So I've got one there, one there, one there, one there, and one there. Excellent. And now we're ready to collapse the model. So if you look at the middle of this, we've got this beautiful pentagon folded into the middle based on our folds. And you want to gather each of these sections up, all 5 of them, equally so that that pentagon is flat on the table. So we're working with the creases that created that little pentagon. And then if all of them are up equally at the same time, and they're going around in a clockwise spiral, so all of these little arms coming off the sides are going to fall flat in a circular pattern, and we press down, everything should collapse into itself. Once again, don't get frustrated. It takes a little practice to get there, but once you do it the first time, it'll get easier and easier. So we've collapsed the star, and now we need to make one more crease pattern in order to finish. So if you'll notice, we've got that pentagon that we were focusing on in the collapsed section, and we've got all of these different flaps sticking up off the sides. Each one of those flaps, if brought straight up, has its own shape. Even though there are multiple layers in it, it's its own thing. And what we're going to do is fold this as though it's a single sheet of paper. On your paper, you'll notice that you've got a crease just about there, coming straight across the paper. And what you're going to do is fold the edge in to that crease. So you may not be able to see it on this. Oh, there you go. You can see it a little bit. We're going to fold the edge in and line it up with that crease. Don't go overboard. Don't go over it, because if you do, it won't collapse correctly. But bring it right up to the edge. You're going to do that again and again and again. So once again, we're working with this vertical crease just here. Bring it in just to that crease. Again, we're working with lots of layers, but we're folding it as though it's one piece. With this next one, it's still that vertical line, but it's almost invisible because it's been folded down. So you're still working with this line here. And you can see it because it's just here. So you need to envisage it up to this point and line it up with where my finger is. Now, as a reference point, when you do that, this corner here that's folding in will actually start to line up with the corners of the other ones. So you want to have a pinpoint gap in the middle of this. I'll show you with a finished one. It's a tiny little gap in the middle, and that can be used as a reference point as well if you need it to. Okay, and the last one. Now we're not worried about that vertical line so much as we are about the center and it lining up with the center. And again, make a nice crisp point at the end of the star, or at the end of the arm of the star, and bringing that point into the center. And you've got one more fold to go and you've created your star. Now, this is the trickiest one of all, because we need to fold this section underneath as though it's one piece, except it's already tucked under a different arm. So we need to be a little bit diplomatic with the paper, if you will. We need to pull that piece back and line this up, line this corner edge up with the center, without pulling it so far back that we pull it out. And at the same time, so see how I'm not working with what's underneath here? I'm holding it on the outside. At the same time, you need to make sure it folds nice and neatly at the point. Now that that crease has been created, and make a crease. Now that that crease has been created, now I'm going to stick my finger underneath and finish off the crease underneath. If you tried to do that first, you're very unlikely to get a good point on the end. If you try to do them at the same time, the whole thing will probably end up wonky. But if you let this be the last thing that you do and do this part first, it should fall right into place. And that is how you make a Christmas star. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you give it a go and make a whole bunch for family, friends, and such for Christmas or for Hanukkah. This is a really fun project. It's worth the tricky bits. So if you're not sure, give it another go and keep trying until you have made it. Don't forget, you can pause me if you need to and come back to the sections and try them again if you need to. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe if you haven't already for more tutorials like this on my channel. And I'll be back soon with another video. Happy Christmas, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.